The new sun. Although the creation of a new sun is not yet fully recognized by conventional science, a new sun is most certainly being birthed. It hasn't been publicly announced yet, mainly because science and consciousness that allows science its dance upon this plane does not understand it. True knowledge and wisdom of the highest order are first delivered through the human spirit and then dreamed into the experience of reality. You may recall that during the summer of 1994, a swarm of comets was discovered by our telescopes. These comets were headed on a possible collision course with the planet. They were headed straight for Earth, in other words. Ultimately, we were told the course of the comets was altered by Jupiter's gravitational pull. Some people were actually disappointed that at least one comet didn't make its way into the Earth's atmosphere, fulfilling a prophecy that a comet would hit the Earth and usher in the full brunt of the Earth changes. Some people were actually disappointed that at least one comet didn't make its way into Earth's atmosphere and hit the Earth. And people are crazy, like not crazy in a good way, like idiots. And it makes me sad. I was with the Hopi a lot that summer, as we filmed several documentaries together, and we watched those heavens. This was not the time, but it was seen as the coming of the red comet. In other words, the red Kachina. There's the blue Kachina and the red Kachina. The Hopi don't look at comets necessarily as flying rocks. To the Hopi and myself, I will add, these occurrences in our night skies are more often seen as ships, not as shooting stars, and not necessarily ships from out there. However, our scientists are now aware of yet another comet making its way toward the Earth, and this is the one you can expect to enter the Earth's atmosphere. Earth will cross the pathway of this comet in the spring of 1998 and travel through this debris for many years after that. The certainty of our running into some of its debris is very clear. We are in trouble, friends. And the Hopi would agree. Only they see the comet as a ship that gets blown up in an encounter with those benevolent to we little Earth beings. They see it as a ship, not as a chunk of space rock. To the Hopi, the significance of the kind of activity, like the comets, which struck Jupiter, was felt that this occurrence was in direct response to Mother Earth calling for assistance from her own family in the heavens. These comets were, a manner of speaking, cosmic eggs. They were absorbed into the atmosphere of Jupiter, much like a human womb accepts a sperm. Jupiter is scheduled to become the new sun. These sperms will replace our present planetary solar system when the existing planets go through their transformational process, and as a result of our solar system passing through the photon belt. This has been foretold as the reappearance of two suns in our heavens. This will not be the first time this occurrence has been experienced by the evolving Earth species. This was the situation when our current sun, the yellow sun, gave birth to our present solar system. As each planet was birthed, it gave substance to various forms of consciousness. The prophet Edgar Cayce gave much information relative to this understanding. To the Hopi Sinom, we already have two suns. One is hidden behind the present sun we see every day. Because where the Earth is in its orbit, it is hidden from our view. Although the veil is lifting, everybody's eyes are gonna see. Oh. This is why we have man and woman in our solar relationship. The nucleus of the family unit. When the change comes, these two suns will travel with us to the new heaven. Jupiter will become the new parent sun here. Only Jupiter will not be as our sun. It will be like the other suns, blue. Our yellow sun is very rare. This planet, Venus, is quite like Earth was before the early lasers of the Atlanteans broke through the cloud cover and stratosphere, which incubated the Earth. Before Atlantis, the Earth was a greenhouse under the protective clouds and the fabled Garden of Eden. In those days, the Earth was illuminated constantly by light refracting through the clouds of water that surrounded our globe. When these clouds were ripped apart by the use of laser beams by our Atlantean ancestors, who by and large were us, the rains came. These were called the Great Floods and have been written about in all indigenous cultures. Look at the Bible, you got Noah, built an ark in the desert. But he wasn't woo-woo. There's something to these stories. They're all the same. This cataclysm was partially due to a natural purification process undertaken by Mother Earth herself. The Earth required purging because the Atlanteans had experimented heavily with nuclear power and corrupted genetic experimentation. They partook in slavery and debauchery over the Lemurians. Consciousness had become corrupted. It was the first war of valued life. Chills like gnarly ones. The elements of the earth were in rebellion. The only natural catharsis was and is a long bath in saline solution or salt water. Wow, I just had like a mental download. Shit. The devastation that existed in that period of time was far greater than our present nuclear pollution. It was so bad, in fact, that there were many mutations of the life forms upon this plane. So who is to say that this virus is man-made? A lot of them are, but I don't know. I'm not back and forth with it. I'm going to pause for a moment and just interject. I've been back and forth with it, but there's something more to it. It's very real. And Mother Nature, the earth is angry. Yeah. Loving, but angry. And that's an understatement. Continue. It's just the mutation part that got me. It was during this period of our experience, so the Hopi had been around for a while. It was during this period of our experience that the Hopi, who were, according to their memories or oral traditions, which are passed down through generation and generation, that can be kind of dangerous, but also not. Not when, the people are not corrupt. The Hopi were the peaceful ones. So, according to the Hopi's memories, the fire keepers, which were within the temples of Atlantis, personally, I think it was the Maya, the Hopi took many peoples into the safety of the inner earth. These refugees stayed with the Hopi and many other beings of the inner earth for a period of approximately 580 years. From what we can determine, that is, so it's speculation on the exact amount of time. So, these individuals stayed within the earth for 580 years, waiting for the devastation that was occurring on the surface above to balance and for harmony to return to the life forms. During our time within the inner earth, we dreamed the reality that we would later experience as the fourth world. The manifestation of that, the fourth world, is the world in which we are currently living. And it's drastically changing day to day. After that purification, through water, some of us desired to return to the surface world to experience the new reality, which we were partially responsible for creating. Now, others of us did not desire to return, and to this day, some of our relatives still remain within the realms of the inner earth. The inner earth has sometimes been referred to as the Middle Earth. This should not be confused with the Hollow Earth, or what has sometimes been referred to as the land of the smoky sun. To this day, many of the openings to this inner earth remain accessible. Shasta, Shasta. It is here that the Hopi and others meet with the Kachinas. There is some very interesting information that can be obtained from the diary of Admiral Byrd and his encounters with these beings in contemporary times. Aho.